So let's start creating visuals. So let's create for products first. So in products, I'm going to get my product English description, and then the number of products that was sold. The number of products should then be quantity. Okay, I picked the wrong column. English products name, this one.
Mm-hmm.
So the quantity and the product. So I'm going to change the visual style to this one so that I can see which product has the highest and the one that has the lowest. Just going to collapse this. Just going to close this. So this shows me that water bottle 30 ounce has the highest um, sales. You can see that the files are already arranged in descending order. So, but let's see, I wanted to get the, so you can see now the order quantity and the product name, right? I can create more visuals and say maybe drill this. This is just the product name. I can drill this down to show me the product category, the subcategory and stuff. So let me try to do that now. So if I say category, just click on the drop down and then pick the English category name. Then I'm going to go to fact internet sales, and then I'll pick the order quantity. So I have just um, 3 categories here, but in total I have 4 categories. So I'm just going to visualize this in pie chart. So pie chart is particularly insightful when we have less data to work with. So which means that if you know you have data like variables that are less than 5, then pie charts will be a good tool for that kind of visual. But if it's more than 5 and it's bulky, you might want to look into other data types, other visualization types, because it becomes too much to understand. If I actually choose a pie chart for this, imagine how tiny my visualization would look, and eventually I will not be able to understand what this percentage means. So it's pie chart is particularly very useful on small data sets like this. This way you can see that accessories has the larger percentage, which is approximately 60%. It's 59.76%. We have bikes, which takes 25.17%. We have clothing, which takes 15.07%. So you can see in detail that we understand the distribution of data set. Unlike this particular one, where we could hardly see where one relationship ends and where the other one begins from. So always ensure that you keep this at the back of your mind when you are creating visuals, as you want to make it as insightful as possible. So now that that is being said and done, we see that we have just 3 categories here, but in real sense, we actually have 4 categories. So if I go on here and I click on category, you see I have bikes, components, clothing, and accessories, but we only have bikes. We don't have components here. So that means that the components might have not been sold, online, because right now we are looking at the online sales. Okay, so I'm just going to rename this visualization. Right now it says order quantity by English product category name, which is too long to understand. Order quantity by English product name. So I'm just going to rename this. It's going to come right here and rename it. So I'm going to change this to product name. And make this product category, and I'm just going to make this quantity. Okay, so okay, that didn't change. So you can see quantity by product category. That is short and precise. So I'm just going to change this also to something else. I'm just going to say products by quantity or something. I'm going to say products, and I'm going to say quantity. So that's very easy to understand instead of having all the long names and stuff. So I'm just going to name this quantity QTY. So we can create other visuals. But first let's see if we can reduce this. I'm just going to click on filters, click on this product, then basic filter, then top end, and then I'm gonna put 10 here. So product name. Okay. Okay, so this is showing for the first 10 products. So the visualization we had before, if I just remove this, or I undo, if I just undo this, okay, you can see we are having like a lot of values coming up. So if we wanted to get like the top 10 values, so just come right here to filters, click on products. So you want the first 10 products to show up. Just click on products and then click on this drop down, then you pick the default is basic filtering. You come right here to pick top n, and then you pick the first 10 or whichever one you're trying to visualize. Then what value do you want it to pick to use as an aggregate? It has to be the numeric value. So if you wanted it to be the alphabetical order, then you can pick the product name. But if you wanted to use the order quantity, just pick that and then apply. So this shows you the first 10 products by quantity. Okay, so that being said, I have two visualization here for quantity. I have quantity by product, I have quantity by product category. I can also have for subcategory. So I have quantity right here. I can also do something on sales. Just gonna say use a card. Just gonna come here. I'm gonna reduce this a bit. I'm gonna come here and I'm going to use a card here, and I want to know the total number of products that's been sold. So I'm just going to click on quantity right here, just quantity. So this card only takes one visual, so the quantity it is. So if I wanted to also know the amount that's been spent over time, I'm just going to pick a card also, and then I'm going to say sales amount. So how much have we generated over time? That's 29.36 million. Okay, so that's also a card, and it has to be just one visual. So if I wanted to know how much has been spent on tax, so I'm just going to pick tax also, and I'm going to pick card. So this shows me how much has been spent on card. But all of these three cards are particularly useful when we want to start building dashboard, so that you'll be able to use this to get specific information about what you're working on. So still on quantity, I'm just going to move this ones to, I'm just going to name this card, and I'm going to move these visualizations there quickly.
Did you use cut?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
So I have my cards here. I can also create more cards here. Let me see. What else do I have here? If I choose discount, I don't think anything is going to come up here because the amount that's been discounted is zero. So over time, there's been no discounts given on any of the products. So how much have we, so we know how much is now, how much quantity that that's been ordered for, the tax that we've paid, the amount that we've generated, which is the this sales amount is I'm looking for a particular column. Okay, okay, it's not taken because I have to split. Just going to click this, not this one. So this production cost is your cost price, while this sales amount is your selling price. So don't be surprised that you have the same, you have product standard cost also here, so which is going to be the same as this. So if you see product standard cost and product total product cost, is the same thing. So they both mean the cost price, while this sales amount means the selling price. So the next thing we want to do now is to get the profits. So if we do our plus and minus here, we'll see that the company has made a certain profit of this product. Made a product around 10 million, 11 million thereabout, 11 million, some hundreds of thousands. So let's create a column that calculates their profit. So to do that, I'm going to go to my table right here, and I'm going to go to my Fact Internet Sales. So this is the part where I choose whether I want to create a table, a column, or a measure. So I said a measure is going to is an aggregate that gets added onto the table, but it doesn't show on the column here, and then it takes fewer space. But a column takes more space, but you could see the results on the table right here. So to do that now, I'm just going to right click here and then click on, it's either a column or a measure. So I'm going to click on a column first. So it's asking, still loading. It's going to ask me to put the column name and then perform my aggregation. So my column name is profit, and then the column that I want to work with is let's see, the standard cost or total production cost and the sales amount. So I'm going to say total production costs. I'm going to say this is minus, and then I want my sales amount. This one. Alright, and then I'm going to hit enter. So this automatically gets created for me as a column right here. Let's wait for that. Okay, so if we go on here now, we can now create a card for our visual here for product, for profit rather. So if you click if you click on here, you see 12.08. so that's, if you add this and this up, it should give you the sales amount right here. So just going to remove this. So that's the profit. So this is the sales price, that's the cost price, the selling price, and then the profit. If you know our mathematics well, you know that when you subtract this from this, you get this. So but if we created a measure for this instead of a column, this is what a measure would then look like. I'm just going to go ahead and create a measure still on the same column or the same value I wanted to create. So I'm just going to say new measure, but I'm going to rename this differently because of conflict in the naming. So I say measure, I'm going to say profit measure like this, and then still the same column, I'm going to say sales, but you see that my sales is not coming up. I'm going to say sum, and then I'm going to say facts, internet sales. Let's say sales amount. So you might want to ask me, why is it not coming up? So the difference is that for measure, it expects that you apply aggregate function on your column. For column, it doesn't require that. So if you wanted to use a measure, you need to apply aggregate function. So I'm going to say this other one is total, right? Total production costs. Then you close the bracket and you save this. So without the aggregate function, it's not going to work. It's just going to give an error. So if I scroll to the side, now that my measure has been created, you see that the last column I have here is profits. So the measure is indeed there, but it's not showing on the column. So I'm just going to go ahead and create a card from that. So unless that is essential that you create a column, then it's not important that you create a column for your new measures, because it takes more space. So okay, I'm creating on the wrong one, but you can see that I have the same value. So you can see I have the same value. So this first one is a column, the second one is a measure. So you can see I have the same result. So I'm going to leave you to create your own visualization, import as many tables as you can, create your own visual, and then at the end of it all, we'll come back and build a dashboard from this.